This one is from Big Fry TV. I believe we've watched this guy before about that super realistic game. But this one is specifically titled, I'm Not Feeling the Black Ops 6 Beta. And I wanted someone kind of not just in the Call of Duty community, but more so like in the first-person shooter community to give their opinions on this game. And we'll see what we agree with and what we don't and take it from there. Let's try this again.
I got an emote.
Okay. How do you? Oh yeah.
Bottom left. There you go.
Hey, yeah. Shh.
Oh, I don't know where he's going with this.
Yeah, I'm cool.
These are the
fuck.
dumbest things I've ever
And people
seen.
said the Battlefield 2042 operators were cringy.
It is cringy, but just wait till they have a million different emotes you can get through bundles, and then people are buying them just for that to show them off at the end of the game. So,
Jesus.
but yeah, cringy. I agree.
All right, I got to preface this video by saying that the Black Ops 6 beta is still ongoing. They're actually dropping new maps and new modes as this week continues going into the open beta.
And next weekend.
Which starts, I believe, later this week or into the weekend. So the beta is still ongoing. A lot of the things that I'm saying is still work in progress. Even though when it comes to these Call of Duty betas, you guys know the deal. It's pretty much what the game is
pretty much a done deal
at launch.
Yeah.
And what that's going to be is, honestly, for the first time in a long time, a Call of Duty that I'm actually not really vibing with. The last time I felt this way after a beta was Black Ops Cold War. So honestly, maybe. Okay,
well, okay, so let's preface this. I don't know what he's going to say here, but let's preface this by saying he said he's a Modern Warfare head. He likes realistic shooters. He doesn't like arcade shooters. As I'm guessing what this is going to come down to. And Treyarch games are arcade shooters. That's why I like them.
Maybe Black Ops games just really aren't for me, which is totally okay this time around because like I said in a previous video, we have a ton of shooters dropping this year that are way more in line with what I want to play.
Yeah.
We got Delta Force, we got the Forever Winter, we got fucking Stalker 2 dropping. So
I don't know what
I'm
Forever
actually
Winter
not
is.
feeling very disenfranchised from the FPS space this year, but I do think the Black Ops 6 is introducing a lot of things that a lot of people are going to like. I want to talk about those as well as some of the stuff that I just wasn't.
This is what a review should do. You should start out by giving your bias, saying, I don't really like the Treyarch games. I'm going to tell you why. I'm also going to tell you what people are going to like. So far, I'm digging it.
In this beta. Let's start there. The Omni movement is something that I think a lot of people are enjoying, the diving around corners. It gets fucking crazy. And I will say there are moments where I'm like, oh, fuck, that dive was cool. Or, oh, I flip around, kill a guy 180. And you get those action-packed moments.
The action hero
moments. For the most
moments.
part, I'm not a fan of how the game is actually playing from a pacing perspective.
Okay.
I will say it is a lot slower paced than I thought it was going to be. I expected
actually,
level.
I kind of somewhat agree with that.
Like running around, everybody's fucking diving. What I'm finding is
higher
even though the
TTK,
movement is a lot more fluid in the terms of like being able to sprint left, right, back, dive around, you have more control over your body. What I'm finding is a lot of players, or at least the more effective ones in the games that I was playing, are the ones who plant their feet on the ground and they play it like old Call of Duties. They
So
walk
that I
around,
disagree
they make
with.
sure
You still got to be a bit of a crackhead,
they're
but
clearing corners and they're taking it just a little bit more slow and reserved, and they're watching for those diving around corner moments. They're watching and they're anticipating the players running around like crackheads, and that's kind of how I played as well. It took me quite a few games to realize.
Big Fry, you know him. He liked Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2. I liked Modern Warfare 2019, but 2 is one of my most hated.
The diving
So
actually isn't as effective as playing the game like a normal Call of Duty title. And as I was playing, I realized like every year Call of Duty does something.
You should have won that gunfight.
It's very gimmicky. Last year was the tactical stance. And I think this time around, Omni movement is the gimmick of this Call of Duty. And the problem that I have with it is like it is a complete overhaul of the movement, which I think is a very core component of FPS, but it actually doesn't do enough to make the game more enjoyable for me. It's just
disagree.
not my style.
I strongly
Although I will
disagree.
say, admittedly, there are a lot of people that are fucking with it. I'm seeing a lot of clips coming out online, and that's great. It's just not for me, and I think that's fair. Now let's contrast it with something.
I disagree with what you guys are saying. I don't think he sounds bitter. I think he likes tactical first-person shooters, and this game is not going to be for people who like tactical first-person shooters. And it brings up an interesting dynamic as to what happens when Infinity Ward makes their next game. What happens to Omni movement?
Something that I do like, dude, I will say I wish I was feeling the gameplay as much as other people, because the UI and the menu system this time around is fucking phenomenal compared to the last few years.
True.
We got rid of the Hulu developer guy. We got fucking rid of that guy. And now we can actually navigate through these menus very, very well. Adding attachments is great. I will say the entire attachment system overhaul, where there's a lot less like cons on all of the attachments.
Which apparently, as we found out, isn't actually true. Apparently they all do have cons, they're just not displayed, which is hopefully just in this build.
A lot of it is like, kit your fucking gun out with as much as you possibly can, because it only benefits you. I like that style. The gunsmith this time around is way more in line with where I want to see it. Actually reminds me a lot more of Delta Force, even though I think Delta Force...
How many Omni unalives do most people have? I have 2. And one of them was at Next, and one of them was on the beta.
Actually offers a little bit more control, a little bit more like stats for nerds style gameplay. I do like the direction that Gunsmith is going this time around. Again, I'm just not feeling the gameplay. Now, one of the big issues I was having with this beta is just the instability this time around. I
only crashed twice in like 20 hours of gameplay. I only crashed twice.
Call of Duty betas every year for, dude, I don't even know how long.
Maybe I just got lucky.
I will say this one, at least for me, in my experience, was one of the most unstable
crashed once in
things
20 hours?
that I have tried. I crashed pretty much after every single
Mine was
game.
on Skyline, where I killed myself too.
With this new COD HQ they have going on, you have to launch into the Call of Duty HQ. You have to then wait for it to load, do its thing, go through
annoying.
the intros, get to the main menu, click the Black Ops 6 beta. The COD HQ shuts down, and then it boots up Black Ops 6. It's like a 2-minute start process.
I said
to get
3 in my
even
video,
into
but
the
yeah.
main menu to then get back into your party, get in with the people, find a match, queue up. It is such a pain in the fucking ass this time around to actually get in. But again, it is a beta. I think they're gonna have that shit solved for launch. But in this beta,
You crashed like 8 times.
I know it's a beta.
What were you playing
guys.
on, SK?
I'm bringing up the issues. It's a pain in the ass. I think the Call of Duty.
So just to be clear, when the game actually launches, you don't have to boot Black Ops 6 into a separate launcher. It'll all be through COD HQ. It's just this way for the beta to kind of separate it. But yeah, it's still annoying.
It's one of the fucking worst things for this game. It's getting bloated, it's getting convoluted, having to go through so many menus. I think that is a major problem, and I just want to bring it up here. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm only vibing with one of the maps that were in the original release of this beta.
I know
they're dropping more maps as time goes on.
Derelict.
We got Pit and Gala. I believe those are new strike maps that dropped today. But dude, Skyline, the house map where you can go underneath with the vents and you can activate the security system and stuff. I'm vibing with that map. I think it is the best one in the beta.
I wonder if Big Fry here would like Search and Destroy.
Derelict, not vibing with at all. Scud, the one with the satellite dish. I'm a
rare Scud enjoyer.
These maps is very fucking weird. And I gotta say, Call of Duty staple, I think this time around is probably one of the worst feeling CODs in terms of the player spawns. I'm not a fan
we all
of Team
agree with this.
Deathmatch for this exact reason,
Team
especially in
Deathmatch
Call of Duty.
suck.
I try to avoid respawn modes like the plague. Unfortunately, we don't have Search and Destroy in yet, so I can't actually try it. But dude, the respawns on these maps this time around are so fucking bad. There are times where I'll roll a clip here. Watch. I get fucking executed by this guy. We're playing on Scud. I'm looking at the satellite. Dude comes up behind me. I respawn right behind him, run up,
no way,
execute him. And it's like, I know Call of Duty is infamous for having terrible fucking spawns.
The revenge
this time
spawn.
around, it feels way worse. And I don't know who the fuck is designing these maps over there. Y'all need to give your head a shake.
No. I disagree. I disagree with what you're saying, TCB. You're saying Scud needs more cover assets. I think it needs less. I think people need to stop camping on that goddamn satellite dish and move around.
What we got in this beta is HVT. I have to say, I think as a game mode itself, it's a cool premise. I do really think that it would benefit from a single life mode where every round you have a new HVT, you have to protect him. The objective is to kill the other HVT. Insurgency had a mode like that I actually really enjoyed, but the HVT only had a pistol and you had to like escort them to the other side of the map. So the other team is hunting your HVT. You have to keep them protected, and they don't have a lot of, they don't have the loadout. They have a pistol. They have, I think they had a little bit of increased health. They're just, I don't know. The HVT mode for me now is like, you run and gun. There's a guy on your team, might be a blueberry. He's the HVT. You have to protect him, but the guy just doesn't fucking know that he's the HVT. He runs in, he dies. There was a round where we were playing in Skyline and we had an HVT on our team. We went down below, we rigged the security systems, and we covered that HVT and we kept them alive, but it didn't
I don't think he knows that the security systems don't close off that basement area.
really do much. It was just like you still had to go out and hunt the other HVT. So it just feels like a mode that was like made on a whim, and like they didn't really think about the best way they could execute it, which is kind of how I feel about a lot of the modes that they come out post launch. A lot of them just kind of feel a little bit
It's a better team
together.
deathmatch.
But I do think with the right tweaks,
it should be called
again,
HVT
single
first
life
of all.
mode,
That should be the name of it, not
round-based,
kill order.
having to protect your
But it's just better
HVT
team
while
deathmatch,
taking
in
out
my
the other
opinion.
teams. I think that actually could lead to a very cool game mode. I don't know if we'll ever see that.
Although in
but that would be
some
very
game
cool.
modes, when you get
I'm
against
not sure how the
or in
internet
some
is feeling
games,
about this, but
when you get
I don't know
against
if you
players
guys
who
have
just sit at the
noticed
back of the map,
footstep
it's
audio
annoying as
is
hell.
kind of non-existent in this beta. I know usually the go-to for Call of Duty is to really ramp up the footstep audio in the betas so that everyone's like, oh man, this footstep audio is fucking great. And then they nerf it for the final game, and then it doesn't sound like it did.
Well, they're
during
doing
the
the
beta.
opposite in this game.
time around. It feels like it was nerfed into the ground to the point where I'm struggling to hear people running right fucking beside me on the other team. It's some of the worst audio that I have heard in a Call of Duty title in quite some time.
Yeah, then they're fixing that.
This is something that they do tweak between beta and final
That
game.
is one thing that they
really
actually
hope
do
they
tweak.
do something about that and make it better. I was getting flashbacks
Oh,
to the
don't you
fucking
worry.
silent
It's a
footstep
Treyarch game. They're
boots
gonna have prop
from Modern
hunt.
Warfare 3 last year that pretty much ruined the experience for me. I want to be able to hear what people are walking. I don't need to hear it thumping in my ear as loud as humanly possible, but I want to at least be a little bit effective. It's 2024. We have the technology to do it. Like, let's fucking get on it. One thing I do like is the ability to customize your HUD. They have a whole bunch of different presets, and that customization is something that I actually really fuck with in a game like this.
Apparently, once the game comes out, we're going to be able to fully customize it. Be like, we want this here and stuff. I don't believe that, but we'll see.
There's a lot of things with like the UI and the back end this time around that I'm really vibing with, but the gameplay itself isn't really doing anything for me to make me excited for final release. I obviously still want to try the campaign. I think that's going to be cool. I'm not very excited about Omni movement coming to Warzone. I'll be honest, I don't know if this is a Call of Duty title that I'm going to be playing this year. Much like Vanguard and much like Cold War, I just skipped those Call of Duties. I didn't talk about them. I didn't cover them. Modern Warfare 2 came out. I was right back on my radar, enjoyed the Warzone, played that.
So there it is. He likes tactical shooters.
Modern Warfare 3 came around. I played that. I play Call of Duties when I like them. I don't play Call of Duties when I hate them. Every time I
And people who love Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2 are not going to like this game.
talk shit about X Defiant, I'm called a Call of Duty cocksucker. Every time I talk shit about Call of Duty, I'm called an old head. People telling me to go back to Arma and Squad. I know the comment section is going to be a fucking cesspool, but I don't care. I had a lot of people asking me what my thoughts are on the beta. Truthfully, guys, gameplay this time around isn't doing anything for me. Map design this time around looking pretty abysmal. The UI, UX, and the back-end stuff I'm really fucking enjoying, but that doesn't sell me on a product. The only thing I want to do is play the campaign, and I'm getting flashbacks to last year, Modern Warfare 3 campaign, the worst Call of Duty campaign in human history. But because this game has 4 years of development, they're trying some new things on the multiplayer side. I'm not going to fault them for it. I'm just going to let you guys know it's just not for me. I don't hate the Omni movement. I just understand that it's not doing anything for me personally. Everybody has different preferences. I just don't care to play it. The single player stuff, still very excited in that story, but I don't know if that's enough to make me want to buy the product when it comes out. I know it's
so first of all, he's also a mouse and keyboard player, and I don't think this game is made for mouse and keyboard.
Game Pass. Oh, it's on Game Pass. You don't have to buy it. Subscription service models for video games, I think, is some of the worst shit that has ever been introduced, even worse than microtransactions. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people like getting good deals. They don't have to pay full price for games anymore. That's great. I think it just excuses mediocrity, and I think in a lot of conversations we've had over a bunch of different games over the years, everyone always says, yeah, it's kind of mid, but I got it on Game Pass, so I didn't have
True,
to pay
that
for
is
it.
a good
Not
point.
realizing that that is exactly why we keep getting mediocre games. But that's a whole other conversation. Black Ops 6, not vibing with it this year. Not mad at it, though. I think mainly because I do know I have a lot of shooters coming out in the pipeline here very soon.
I think he knew going into it that he wasn't going to vibe with
that
this
are going
game.
to give me the feeling and the vibes that I'm actually looking for. And I can just skip this Call of Duty without really being pissed off about it. And that's where I'm at. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you playing
It's an interesting
the beta?
take. It's an interesting take. Like, I don't agree with the stuff that he said. I don't agree with like his hate of the movement or anything like that. But I think he's a rather level-headed statement saying, you know what, I just don't vibe with it. I don't like the arcadey games, and here we are. So yeah, that's kind of where he falls on it, and I can't blame him for that. We'll watch Espresso's video about graphics yet? Not yet. I am interested in that though. But anyway,